you guys? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We have a lot to cover. We're talking about Malik Beasley and how he will be serving a sentence for that threat of violence crime from last year. We're also talking about the Super Bowl streaker and how he really walked away with the W on that one. But before we do all that, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Now here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Britt. You guys can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. I hate to do this today because I'm like so full from the weekend still. But ladies, what day is today? It's Taco Tuesday! I legit gained like 5 pounds this weekend. It's cool though.
Okay. It's the Super Bowl 5. Everybody, you know, you get your Christmas 10, the Super Bowl 5. It happens to everybody, okay? You guys, I really want to talk to you about Malik Beasley because obviously Malik's name has been in the headlines for a variety of reasons in the past few months. First, because he was dating Larsa Pippen and apparently cheating on Montana Yao. And now he will be serving a 120-day sentence at the end of the season following his felony charges from his arrest last year. So you guys might remember that he pointed a rifle at a family who was house hunting in the neighborhood. Nothing like a warm welcome to the community. The Athletic said that Beasley's threat of violence charge will be reduced to a misdemeanor after completion of probation, and the felony drug charge was dismissed. His attorney says that they're very pleased with the outcome of everything, and they hope that this will allow Malik to continue working on becoming a better person and making better choices. So once the season is done, he is going to be serving that 120-day sentence. Jackie, do you think the NBA is going to take any further action, or do you think that now that it's in the law's hands, they're just taking a step back?
There might be some disciplinary action because now you've kind of made the squad look bad, and that's always a thing. But I don't know, because I know the NFL is big on those personal conduct rules, but they might just make him serve out his sentence legally. But I think that there should be some sort of repercussion because you can't make the league look bad. That's part of your contract. So they'll probably take some action against him.
And then, Britt, do you feel like this is going to impact his NBA career in a negative way, or is he going to just kind of be fine with this? We saw Kentavious Caldwell-Pope play with an ankle monitor a few years ago, so this has happened before. How do you think this is going to impact Malik?
I really don't think it should, as much as I obviously don't like him for, leaving his baby mom and not paying any money and child support and all that kind of stuff. What he did in that situation, I don't remember it being that bad because first of all, the family shouldn't be snooping around people's houses. That's what you get. You get out, you come on my property and I don't know who you are. Yes, I'm going to raise a gun to you. I don't think that that's his fault. Yes, okay, maybe he should have just been like, what are you doing here? But also, people shouldn't be snooping around people's homes. So, especially in this climate of what we're in, he's probably fearful for his life which is why he has a gun in the first place. So, I don't even think that the NBA should do anything about it. I think that, whatever you have to do and the law said is whatever. But I don't think that it was even a situation where the NBA is looking at him sideways oh, you a detriment to the league and whatever the case is. I don't think so. I mean, there's been players that have literally brought guns in the locker room and it actually didn't end up affecting their careers negatively. So I don't think this is something that the NBA should even punish or do anything with.
Right. Well, it's interesting to see that he is serving that sentence. For those of you who are tuning in the chat, let us know what you think about Malik Beasley's this new update and whether or not this will follow him throughout his NBA career. But now let's get into Russell Wilson, you guys, because there are reports coming out of Seattle that say something may be going down with Russell Wilson. According to CBS Sports, the people in his camp have become increasingly frustrated with the Seattle Seahawks' inability to protect him. And Russell Wilson was on the Dan Patrick show, and he said that he's not entirely sure if he's available for a trade or not. That's a Seahawks question. But he said, quote, "I definitely believe they've gotten calls. Anytime you're a player that tries to produce every week and has done it consistently, I think people are going to call for sure. I think that's part of the process." And he also says that ultimately what he wants is to win. He says at the end of the day, quote, "You want to win. You play this game every day to wake up to win. You play this game to be the best in the world. You know what I hate? I hate sitting there watching other guys play the game." So obviously he prefers to win just as any other athlete does. And if he can't, or if the Seahawks aren't going to do enough to try, it seems like he is definitely willing and open to going somewhere else. So Britt, what do you predict is going to happen here? Do you think that Russell Wilson will be moved, and where do you think would be a good fit for him?
I mean, I think Russell Wilson at this point wants to be removed from the team and traded. Over the last 9 seasons he's been with the team, he's been sacked 394 times. So they have continually, even though he is an 8-time Pro Bowler, he's a future Hall of Famer, they have repeatedly not protected him and not put people in place to protect him. And I think that that's very unfortunate, because he is one of those guys that we all are going to remember has those legs on him because he's had to scramble. We should not have to see a guy like Russell Wilson and what he's been able to do in his career be a guy that's still scrambling and running around. Like, no, that's like, you give that to make the rookie young quarterbacks do that and figure out their way. But like a guy like that that's been on this team for 9 seasons and has been sacked 300, almost 400 times, like that is unheard of. Like that is insane. So I think that he should want to leave, because obviously the Seahawks, again, defense is huge, but the Seahawks kind of put a lot of their money in their defensive players, not really especially not their offensive line. And so I think that he is at a point now where he's like, he's not going to say he wants to go and do all of that, which even more so than Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson has the right to say it because he's earned the right, because he is a star player, and Deshaun Watson has the potential to be, but Deshaun Watson's not that guy yet. He's had a couple good seasons, but he's not the guy that Russell Wilson is to be a guy that, like, we would say, oh, he can demand a trade. Like, he's earned that. It's Russell Wilson. And he hasn't even gone there yet, and I don't think he will, but just, like, watching the interview and him, like, well, that's a Seahawks question, kind of like putting little fillers in there, like, oh, I don't know. Like, that just shows that he's not confident that he should be there, or that the team even wants him there. And then when we're looking at guys like Deshaun Watson or other players that are on, Dak Prescott potentially being available or whatever this year, like, I think that that's something that the Seahawks for sure are going to entertain, especially if they're starting to see Russell Wilson happy where he is right now, and he shouldn't be, because he's a great quarterback, and he's still early in the conversation this year. He was still one of the guys that were a runner-up for NFL MVP, but that quickly changed because of what he's able to do with the team that he has.
I lost you at the end of that, so sorry if I had a delayed response trying to respond to you. But Jackie, I'd love to hear your take on all of this. What do you think is going to happen? I'd love to ask you that same question.
I think Russ would love to stay in Seattle. I think he's been there so long and he's kind of established himself there. So he would definitely want them to step up. I think it's a little bit different than the Deshaun Watson situation, where no matter what the Texans did, he wanted out. I think Russ will be interested in staying and doing, what he needs to do with that franchise if they show that they want to do what they need to do to, like Britt said, make sure he's not running for his life for the rest of his career. So I think it's just one of those things that it just depends on what they're actually going to do to make him feel safe in that situation and make him feel like, yes, we want to give you the best final years of your career. But as of right now, I don't think they've proven that. So it's up to them. I think that relationship is salvageable.
And where do you guys think you'd like to see Russell Wilson end up? Jackie, do you have any teams that you think would be a good fit for him?
I'm so used to seeing him in Seattle. I really kind of want that situation to work out. And no, that I want that to work out. Yeah, because I don't know where else I'd want to see him. I mean, potentially, like Rick said, maybe a Dak and Russ switch if that doesn't work out. But other than that, no, I don't know where else I'd want to see him.
All right. Well, then, chat, put your bets in. I like doing this. I like to see who was right, who, figures it out before it even happens. So, chat, let us know where you'd like to see him end up, any teams that you think would be a good fit for him. And now, there is so much. We have so many technical issues today, you guys. I don't know if this is just me or if it's you, but I'm having a hard time. But anyway, the Super Bowl streaker, okay? So Chiefs fans walked away from the Super Bowl very disappointed, but this one guy, he really walked away feeling great about himself because this guy pocketed so much cash. So you all probably saw in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, a guy came out in that pink thong unitard leotard thing, ran across the field, was tackled. Jackie talked about the commentary that was happening during that in the post up yesterday. It was so funny. But now he has become even more legendary because not only was he able to streak across the Super Bowl field, but he also cashed in 6 figures. So a graphic was circulating around on social media claiming that this streaker placed a $50,000 prop bet at 750 odds. I don't know betting that well, so I don't even know what any of this really means. Before the game, that a fan would run onto the field, and he decided that fan was just going to be him, so he jumped off and did it, and he did walk away with $374,000. It cost him about $1,000 to get out of jail, so he lost that bit of money, but he basically walked away with so much extra. And then he actually spoke to NBC6 after the whole ordeal, and he said it was kind of spur of the moment, a little bit of liquid courage and adrenaline rush. He said that his first intention was to kiss Patrick Mahomes on the cheek. He also, on his leotard, was promoting an X-rated Russian website, I guess, for some Russian YouTuber called Vitaly Uncensored. Not familiar. Let me know if you've checked that website out, you guys, in the chat. And
that's the guy.
That's his website. I think
he owns that. That's his company. Yeah, he owns that company.
Oh, he owns that company.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's just crazy. So he got some good promo there. Maybe he got some new website users. He also got $374,000. So ladies, the big question here is, would you streak in the Super Bowl for $374,000? Britt, what are your thoughts?
Yes, of course. Everybody was so tripped out. I'm like, that is the best thing ever. And especially now, because we know CBS, as soon as they saw the guy, they immediately went the cameras away, didn't cover it. That happens every year when there is a streaker. But because we have social media now, this person can still get those clicks, still get people to go to his site. It was genius. He wore his company on his thing, and that's perfect. If you're just doing it because you're drunk and you're stupid, whatever. But this guy was a genius. I thought it was so smart. When I was like, oh, that's him. This is his company. That's his brand or whatever. And for him to do that is so dope. Same thing with the dude with the sign. He went to the Super Bowl. He probably got everything for free because he uses his social media to make those connections and cash out that way. So I think anytime people can, stick it to the man, because obviously Super Bowl and CBS, get it away from him because we're not giving him any money and not helping him in his career and whatever. But we have social media now, so now it doesn't matter if CBS caught him because everybody else got the video of it, and we're talking about it today, and he's probably literally just laughing all the way to the bank, got a little misdemeanor, pays a little fine, is going to be good to go, might as well.
Maybe this just gave me a really good idea. Next year, we should all be the streakers wearing the Fumble across our leotards.
Yeah, if Fumble wants to pay for us to go to the Super Bowl for a chance, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. I fully support that. Jackie, now I have to ask you, would you be the one streaking at the Super Bowl for $374,000?
Oh, yeah. No question at all. And I would have my website across my chest, too. It wouldn't even be a thing. And there would be no liquid courage involved. Just make sure that check is waiting for me at the end. I need to see that check first with my name on it, cashier's check, and then, yeah, I'm doing it.
All right, you guys, some hard-hitting sports journalism right now. I think the takeaway at the moment is always bet on yourself. That's what we need to learn from.
I wonder though if they're going to make it illegal for that to be one of the props, because you guys don't know about like sports betting, but I'm like obsessed with it. But basically a prop is just something that's going to happen during the game. Like it could be like, oh, so-and-so does this dance in the end zone, or so-and-so has, 3 picks. So it's not necessarily betting on the game of like the over under, who's going to win or whatever. It's just like random little things that can happen during the game or around the game. And I wonder if they're going to make, because now I feel like now everybody's going to be like, oh, well, next year I'm going to do that too. And then I'm going to streak. And we're going to have 20 streakers out there. And then the betting people are going to have to pay out all this money to all these streakers. So I wonder if now they're going to like not put that as one of the things, because that's something that you can self-do. Like you can bet literally on yourself, which technically in most betting things is kind of illegal, and you're not supposed to do that. Like the players can't bet on themselves. Like that's illegal to do. So like I wonder if they're not going to like let this even be a thing anymore. So this is probably a one and done, I think. Unfortunately, we won't be able to stream for cash next year, guys.
Dang.
Well, that's actually a really interesting take, because that probably is going to happen, because they want to protect themselves. And once people see that, yeah, I can bet on myself to be the person that jumps on the field, I'm sure a lot of people will try and do that. So that's a very good point. We'll have to see what happens. If it's still allowed, girls, I am down. I'm down to make it work. We'll get over there. We'll be the ones running across.
It's in LA. So it's in LA next year. Super Bowl is.
Oh, yeah. Do it.
Easy. So it'd be fine. We wouldn't even have to travel that far. It would be perfect.
Yeah, we just have to swim across that little lake that's at the stadium, but the little moat.
I love it. All right, you guys. Well, let's wrap up Need to Know News. Jackie, can you fill us in on the post up?
Yes, let's get into the post up. This is going to be an expected one off top because it's Florida. Tampa Bay won. They were doing a lot, though, with their celebration. Check out this video.
Oh my gosh, Eagles fans all over again.
Right?
Eagles fans all over again.
Seriously, there's not a single mask in sight. This was just ridiculous. But, of course, the comments are what makes this even better because you know what time it is right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic. This first one for us here in California, we appreciate this. California entered the chat. How are we the interceptor again? Just to know that doesn't add up. Somebody lying somewhere. That's true. With all that they're doing over there, how are we the epicenter for all of this? This is crazy to me. And then this next one, you don't have to worry about COVID in Florida. Chlamydia gonna get you first. That is terrible. But probably
it's true. It's true.
And I love this one. Just gonna have a whole COVID sing along in there out there. I don't understand what is going on out there in Florida, but I get it. You know, just get the win and then go out and just get COVID. I just don't. I don't understand it. But
all the parties we saw. I saw so many videos of people that went to Tampa for Super Bowl, and they were at all these parties before the Super Bowl, like turning up, went to the game, definitely probably passed COVID around at the game because they were just at all these parties. Like, and I'm just so confused. I'm so confused. And I knew a lot of people that randomly went, and they're just like doing these videos in the stadium. In the stadium, people I didn't see a lot of masks. I did not see a lot of masks. Even in the stadium. But it's because they don't get tested in Florida. Just because you don't get tested doesn't mean you don't have it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We can tell you.
We just know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Ignorance is not bliss at all in that situation. So please do better down there in Florida because y'all are out here embarrassing us all. But I love this next one because it's got LeBron James in it. Now, you know, we went into we went into overtime against OKC last night, which is unnerving to me, but that's a whole nother topic. But LeBron was out here prepping in a very special way before. I can't play the song for you, but he was out here getting his workout on. He posted this video to his live. I think we have it. We have it. Maybe not. It sucks because you're missing it. He had a whole video in his live that he said he was going to be cracking some heads and his workout was dope. But then, of course, when it came time to actually do the game, you know, LeBron is 36. He did have that triple-double. But with that overtime, this is how he reacted at that overtime. He was tired. He pretending like he's playing, but I know that's not real. Ooh, I'm tired. Rest.
He's like, I'm just gonna lay right here for a quick second. Poor guy.
No, right? 43 minutes, and he has not missed a game this season. So, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. But of course, there was a reaction to it that I'm sure, Devin, you and I will be able to appreciate. It says, Lakers need OTs to beat these weak teams. They are not true contender, not clutch, sad. And then that was, of course, from a Clippers fan. So somebody chimed in and said, your team lost by 50 to the Mavs. So do you think we need to be worried, Devin, because we can't beat these nothing teams?
I don't think we need to be worried. I'm still very confident. I'm still very optimistic. You're going to have good games. You're going to have bad games, but I'm not worried. Are you worried, Jackie?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. No. But I do know something I am worried about, and that's my boy Draymond. Now, we saw, what was it, not even a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, Draymond was telling the rookie, you can't take shots like that. You cannot take shots. Look at this shot that Draymond took and tell me who needs the real lecture.
Immediately to inbound. Oh, still looking for Steph. Now Draymond's got it.
What did he do that for?
Draymond shot a three with 5 seconds left.
Why? He got time. He thought they were probably going to foul him right away, and he just anticipated it.
So I think he was thinking he could get 3 free throws maybe. But DeJounte.
I love how he tried to explain it away, like, oh, what did he do that for? Then, oh, maybe he did it because of this. But no, Twitter was not having any of that. They wasn't appreciating that at all. Says Draymond was trying to draw a foul, for goodness sake. He had 10 assists and 10 rebounds. Haters are going to hate. People were like, but no, Draymond shouldn't have taken that shot. Look at this next tweet. It says, even if he got fouled, he wasn't going to make 3 free throws. So, seriously, what was the plan there, Draymond? That's so embarrassing. But maybe listening to your advice that you... Go ahead, Devin.
Jackie, I just want to say that Steve Kerr did end up taking the blame for that afterwards. He said it was his fault. I'm trying to find the quote right now, but you might be wondering why... No, he said, okay, let me see this really quickly. Head coach Steve Kerr isn't throwing Draymond Green under the bus after that last-second blunder in the Dubs loss against the Spurs. So Steve Kerr said the Spurs generally do not foul in those situations. Probably my fault for not informing the team that the Spurs don't usually foul up 3 late. So he's at least trying to take the blame off of Draymond and saying that it's his fault.
That's cute.
But it's still not his fault that he took the shot.
Right.
I know.
It's like literally, I forgot to tell them that they don't foul. No, you forgot to what? That is so confusing because everybody should know that they wouldn't have fouled in that situation. Everybody should have known that. Draymond's been in the league too dang long for that.
Right. And that his whole body was not even... That was a horrible shot. So, no, I'm not giving him that pass either, Britt. I'm with you on that one. But on this next one, too, I need to know what 10-year-old is running the NBA with this COVID, because I'm sure you guys saw this. But first they kept Kevin Durant off the court because they said he might have come in contact with somebody. Then they let him go in the second quarter, play. And then in the fourth quarter, they pulled him out after he had been in contact with everybody. Watch his reaction when they're doing this to him on the sideline. He's just like...
As you see Kevin Durant. Is this the moment where he gets notification that he's got to leave the floor? Yeah, he can't believe it. He's shaking his head. He cannot believe it.
And again, can't see exactly who that is that relayed that information to Kevin. But again, just the timing so odd as he's sitting in...
make that make sense. You have me off, you have me on, then I'm playing, and then you take me off again. That doesn't make any sense. But of course, they issued a statement. The NBA issued a statement about this. Says Kevin Durant had tested negative 3 times in the last 24 hours, including 2 negative PCR tests today. However, someone he interacted with this afternoon subsequently had an inconclusive test result returned shortly before the game. Durant was initially held out of the game while that result was being reviewed. Under league's health and safety protocols, we do not require a player to be quarantined until a close contact has confirmed a positive test. That still doesn't make sense why you have him in and out, in and out, in and out.
Right.
Like that doesn't make sense. You know, Twitter's not buying it either. We have one user that said, you know, basically that exact thing. Can everyone stop saying things like out of an abundance of caution? We're just saying words that don't match actions for PR and over at this point. Like, I'm trying to understand, though, even with everything they said, Britt, how does it make sense? How does it make sense to keep him out, put him in, let him play, take him out again?
It doesn't, because now Kevin Durant, because you let him be in that situation, now isn't everybody that he's been around on both teams now possibly been around somebody who's been around somebody who got COVID? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand why they continue to do this. They've done it in every league. They've done it now in baseball, football, basketball. Every league has had this issue, and it's so silly. Do not, unless the tests come back and they're like, okay, negative or positive, whatever it is, nobody should be doing anything until that point. Like, it's just so frustrating and so annoying to continue to keep saying this stuff. Like, and then y'all want us to get a vaccine when y'all can't even prove if the test is accurate or not? Stop.
Right.
Like, I'm just so confused with this whole thing. Like, you can't now move to a whole nother level of stuff when we can't even get a confirmed consensus on, are these tests even, like, useful? Do they even work? Like, how many times have we seen a player test positive 20 million times and hasn't been around nobody, and then test negative and then test positive? Like, it's annoying, honestly. It makes me so irritated that it's this stupid.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes sense. And I know that's what KD was thinking, like, why am I even, if that's the case, the whole game should have been canceled, because now you've come in contact with everybody. So totally agree. Every single player. Yeah. So it makes absolutely no sense. But we talked about this too. We talked about the unsportsmanlike flag that Tyrann Mathieu got when he went up and did the whole finger into Tom Brady's face. But if you look at this video, Tom Brady was the person who chased down Tyrann Mathieu. Tom Brady started that whole entire thing, which is interesting because I really don't expect that from Tom Brady. And even the commentators were going in on Tyrann Mathieu, basically saying he shouldn't have done that. You know, it was wrong for him to do that. Even we see now, remember, she has a son named Brady, but we see her talking to him too. So it's this whole thing because Tyrann actually tweeted something that's actually since been deleted, but he basically, and it was after this came out that he deleted that tweet, and I'll show you that in a second. But basically, Tom Brady sent a text message apology, but I'm not entirely sure who he sent the text message to, because ESPN had it, and ESPN read it out loud. And basically, he says that he thinks that Tyrann's an ultimate competitor, that he watched him when he went to LSU, and that he apologized for his actions, and at some point he would want to apologize in person. And Tyrann had issued, before this apology came out, he had issued a tweet that said, he says, he called me some things I won't repeat, but yeah, I'll let the media throw me under the bus as if I did something wrong or said something to him. Go back my previous games against TB12. I showed him nothing but respect. Look at my interviews about him. I show grace. So I want to know what Tom Brady said, because obviously he said something, because then Tyrann went back and deleted those tweets after said apology that I don't think he actually received. So Britt, how do you feel about this apology from Tom Brady? Does it mean anything, or how do you feel about it?
Well, if you apologize for what you said and tell us what you said, like if you are open in your apology and admit that you said something or whatever the case is, then yeah, it's an apology that can be accept it again. It's not my apology to accept or not, but like, I don't know. I didn't like when I saw it, and I talked about it yesterday too. Like that was not the Bucks had just scored. There's no way that you call unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense of a team that just scored. It just doesn't make sense. Like clearly the taunting started on the other side, and it proves it. Like it started with Tom Brady, and then so now a player can't defend themselves against Tom Brady. Like, well, no, yeah, we do know that that's true. They can't. But like it's just I know almost at least 3 or 4 of those players were mic'd up in some way during that game and heard or overheard. If it wasn't Tom Brady that was mic'd up, which I think that it was, somebody got that footage. Why did we not get to hear it? Because there was something on the other side and somebody said something to Tom Brady, we would have already heard that mic'd up footage. Where's Tom's mic'd up footage?
Good question.
Where is it?
I want to hear it. I definitely want to know. Because that just seems out of character. And we could see from the way that Tom's head was moving that some strong words were being issued. So I want to know what he said as well, because that's ridiculous. So let's go on to this next one, though, because it makes me wonder. We've seen Antonio Brown be very hostile to his baby's mama and things of that nature. He's thrown gummy penises at her. But she was posting on her story. She seems very happy and content to be at the Super Bowl with her man. And then she posted some pictures of her children with Antonio Brown, who they actually look quite adorable. So it looks like maybe all is well. And Antonio Brown has turned over a leaf with his baby's mom and ex, and apparently now his fiance. So maybe we have a brand new Antonio Brown, because he also was very humble in his post-game interview. So take a listen to that.
I mean, Tom is a great guy, man. He's been in my corner since day one. A big brother to me who always believed in me, took me under his wing, helped me get the right perspective, helped me put some things into perspective. And I had to just take a step back. I appreciate things with the right perspective and just being gracious and with gratitude. It's a blessing to play this game. Being a year out without football made me appreciate it more. And I'm just grateful to be at this point right here and to finally be a champion.
Okay, next question will come from Jenna.
I know you and I definitely wanted to see AB in this moment. We definitely wanted to see him get this ring. With what he said, with what his baby's mama is saying, and then what he said in that post-game interview, do you think we have a brand new Antonio Brown?
Did you ask me, Jackie? You cut out a little bit.
So I was asking Britt if she thinks we have a brand new Antonio Brown.
Okay.
I don't know if it's I think this was Antonio Brown, and then he had his, little mental issues, which is what we saw over the last year and a half. And then maybe he's just calmed down and got back to the original Antonio Brown. But I don't know, because again, we talk about a lot of head injuries, and we know that Antonio Brown was wearing the incorrect helmet for years and not wearing the updated one because he wore his old helmet for 9 years. And finally the NFL just said, hey, no, you can't wear this anymore. This is like, we canceled this helmet 5 years ago. You can't wear this anymore because of the concussions and whatever the case is. So I don't know if it's like a new Antonio Brown. I'm happy to see him mellowed out again, because this is the Antonio Brown that I remember from originally liking him in the first place. He wasn't always what we saw, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I love to see him kind of, I don't know if he just wasn't there could have been so many different factors for why he was being the way he was. But I am happy to see him seemingly, to the public's eye, chilled out. I don't know what that means for him, but I'm happy to see him. Obviously we were happy to see him score a touchdown, because I wanted that for his career. Like the last time he did play in a Super Bowl was his rookie year, and he caught one pass for 1 yard, and didn't do anything. And obviously they didn't win that Super Bowl either. So I think me and you talked about it. We wanted him to, we wanted this for him. So I'm happy to see him like this. I hope it continues, and whatever issues he was going through are a thing of the past. But it's football, so I don't think so. I think we'll get little spurts of it again.
Now, Devin, I know you like to keep up on the relationships and whatnot. Do you think Antonio Brown and his fiance can survive moving forward with all that we've seen that's been so negative about them? Do you think that this is just that, yay, we're at the Super Bowl, or do you think that they can actually move forward?
Gosh, it's tough to say because I know that like the moment you start working on yourself, the moment you start talking to a therapist or a counselor and you really do some inner work and inner healing, you are able to kind of mend broken relationships from the past. Based on those posts that she put up, it seems like she's sort of ready to, at least she maybe has already moved past it, or she's ready to start moving past it. You know, the fact that she was out there at the Super Bowl supporting him. I mean, of course, anybody's going to be excited to be at the Super Bowl like that. She probably felt really like cool to get hooked up in that way. But I think that she probably, for the sake of their children, they probably are trying to mend things and move forward. And I think it seems like Antonio Brown is in a good place now. So it's hard to say what'll happen, but once you start working on yourself, you know, good things can come.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him do good things. Tom Brady said he's going to be back, so I'm sure Antonio Brown hopefully will be back as well, because I know how much Tom Brady likes Antonio Brown. But this next one is super hilarious to me because, you know, there's not that many fans in the stands, and so if you wear anything that's kind of odd, you're going to stand out. I did not think that this one was very odd. I thought these commentators were being unnecessarily mean and rude, but it turns out okay. But check out this video because this is just a lot.
Looks like an old jersey.
That might be. I'm not gonna lie. That looks a little bit like the one that you know, like
that like you
found that on the street vendor maybe.
Buy one get two free.
Hey, you want this NyQuil Jordan jersey?
It's got ball. It's like the Bulls are like. It's like he might have made that at home. I'm just kidding, big fella.
Hey, wherever you represent, brother.
That just seemed unnecessarily rude and super mean to me. I did not like that at all. And then when I went to Twitter, I found out nobody else liked it either. But they did make up for it. The commentators made up for it. I think they knew that they were a little bit extra. So they found out who he was because they ended up seeing him and his friend laughing at it. Found out who he was on Instagram, and then everything works out. Take a look.
There's our guy.
That's Mac McClendon, which, by the way, is a great handle. And I think he and his friend here are having a good time.
They got the tweets out there. They heard us. They heard the jokes out there.
Absolutely.
But Mac, let us tell you something, man. We just had some fun with you. You know you're a big Bulls fan. We love it. And we are sending you a gift care package.
Yes, sir.
From us and the Bulls because you being a great sport about us having fun with you tonight. We appreciate.
I guess that makes it a little okay. I need to know what was in that gift package. But yeah, Devin, I'm going to go to you first. Was this unnecessarily rude and mean, even though they seemed to have taken it lightly and they were laughing about it? It just seemed unnecessarily rude and mean to me.
You guys know I love the savagery. I love moments where it's like, wow, you can't believe you said that. But this really did take it too far. This made me feel really, really bad for that guy. I don't care what gift package he got, what care package, whatever they hooked him up with. That was mean. It was uncalled for. It was mean-spirited. And I feel like, of course, he's going to laugh because in that moment, that's all you can really do. You know, when you find out that people are making fun of you like that, you're not going to sit there and be like, angry, you're gonna laugh about it because that's the easiest reaction. But I felt bad. I didn't like this at all. It made me sad.
What about you, Britt?
I mean, I'm not as big of a simp as y'all are apparently, because I didn't really think it was that deal. I thought it was funny in and of itself, but it's like crazy because we were just talking yesterday. I don't know if we did it on or off air, but about the vintage stuff and how it's so much doper. Like the old school stuff is better. And like, yes, it looks more simple and it looks like whatever, but I like that. Like yesterday, the Cowboys sweatshirt I wore was a 1992 Cowboys sweatshirt. And like, Jackie was like, oh, they don't make new stuff as dope as like the old stuff. And the old stuff just be simple. I feel like with the new stuff, they be doing too much. And like the letters are like raised over it. That probably was actually a real authentic jersey, but we forget how simple and just chill the jerseys were back then. Like now they're like all crazy in the city jerseys, and they're all decked out in all these weird rainbow sherbet colored jerseys and stuff we're seeing now. So like he took it back to the basics, and that was probably a real jersey from like 1990, and we're not even realizing, and they're over here clowning him, and he's like, funny y'all, but this jersey is worth like $2,000 now, so keep laughing. So I thought it was fine because I don't think he really did make it a fake jersey. I don't think it was fake.
I just didn't like how they were like, oh, big guy, like, you know, that made me feel bad for him. The jersey, whatever, the jersey was fine. It's the talking about, like, you know, him being a big guy and stuff. That's where I felt bad for him.
Me too, because it's like, oh man, you see me in this jersey, and there's not even that many people in here, so I'm just an easy target for you. You know what I mean? I just didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Britt's not feeling it. She's like, nah, it wasn't that bad.
He's fine. And his boo was laughing like crazy. Like she was laughing harder than anybody else. So we ain't worried about it. She was laughing. She thought it was funny. If anything, be mad at her because that's her boo. Shoot. Right. Laughing louder than anybody there.
All right. Well, I'm wrapping up post up a little early, but so we might have to circle back to something else a little bit later. But let me get Britt up on the screen because you guys know what today is. It's tag team back again.
Tag team back again. We really got to get this together. There's a party over here. Party over there. Tag team Tuesday.
That was very rough, and I'm sure the delay that I'm getting is not helping at all because I'm like tag team.
Tag,
yeah.
Tag team. No.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna get into this next topic, which let me just give you some background about this because one of the reasons we even have Black History Month is because for a very long time, Black history just wasn't taught in schools. As outside from slavery and the civil rights movement, you just didn't get any real history, and especially for Black people, it's important to realize that your history started way before slavery. That's number one. And number two, I think when you're not a Black person, to be in a public school and not know anything about the people outside of you who made this country what it is, I think it's a disservice to kids. So obviously that's why it started. I think it's very, very important for everyone to learn Black history. I don't even think it should be just in the month of February. I think it should be a part of the normal curriculum because Black history is actually American history. So if you're learning American history, you should learn about Black history as well. But I understand that's not typically how it goes. And so thus we have these 28 or 29 day month, February to learn Black history. So the odd thing is most, even parts of the country that I don't even find would actually want to do it. Most public schools, especially, and private schools take it on with pride, and they use that time because they know that this needs to be taught. But North Ogden is a charter school in Utah, decided to let kids opt out of Black history. Like they just don't have to take that at all. They don't have to learn about Black history specifically in the month of February, which is Black History Month. And according to the school's Facebook page, their director on Friday said, a few families asked to not participate in instruction related to Black History Month, which is celebrated annually during February. In an email to the Standard Examiner, the principal of that school declined to disclose how many parents emailed her basically saying that they didn't want their kids to participate. But she did say she was very disappointed in that. And according to the enrollment data from the Utah State Board of Education, only 1% of the 322 students in that school are Black, 69.6% are white. Not understanding why you wouldn't want to learn, even if it's a small percentage like that, not understanding why you wouldn't want to learn about this history. We've talked about Utah before. We've talked about how several players across the league do not like going to play in Utah because racist things have been said to them. We've seen Russell Westbrook get into it with the fan in Utah because of that. So I'm not surprised that somebody from the Utah Jazz would speak out about this. So I'm going to tag my girl Britt in, and she's going to tell you kind of who from the Utah Jazz had something very specific to say about this.
Yes. This honestly is something we probably would not be hearing about or know even happened if it wasn't for these athletes that came up and decided to speak on it. So The Hill actually posted the story about it, and Donovan Mitchell was the first athlete to say something. He said, "I don't know where to start. Racism is taught. And the fact that kids are being told by their own parents to not learn about Black history and Black excellence is sickening and sad. And this is just part of the problem," shaking my head. Rudy Gobert also posted about it as well and said, "Meanwhile, kids can't be opted out of the many lies that they are being taught the rest of the year. Hashtag history, hashtag his story." I think this was absolutely insane that we are even hearing about it just because these athletes who many times just shut up and dribble or do whatever they're doing as far as basketball is concerned, but not have any concern in anything else, said something about it. The school is 45 minutes away from Salt Lake City, where these guys play at. So this is their community. This is something that's going on in their particular area. So I thought it was huge that they decided to say something about it, and it meant something. It actually turned into something because on Saturday, the school announced that they are reversing this. The school posted something saying, "Celebrating Black History Month is part of our tradition. We regret that after receiving requests, an opt-out form was sent out to concerning activities planned during this month of celebration. We are grateful that families that initially had questions and concerns have willingly come to the table to resolve any differences, and at this time, no families are opting out of our planned activities, and we have removed this option." First of all, I don't know what in the name of whatever that you would think that Black history is not also American history. Like, this is American history. Like, so I don't understand how kids can, or their parents can be like, "Actually, we don't want our kids to learn about the history of America or what's going on in America." Black history is American history. So, like, to even say that you do not want to learn about anybody Black during this month or be a part of any of the activities, and for a school to even have it, I get it, it's a private charter school, whatever they want to do is not okay in this matter. Like, it's crazy to even hear that this is 2021. We are in 2021, and I get it. It is a big ask to ask this country to not be racist, considering of what this country is built off of, racism and slavery and discrimination and stuff like that. But this is literally happening still to this day. And after what we just had in 2020, after all the stuff that just happened in 2020, a school where you send your kids to learn, where 3 Black families have sent their kids to go learn at, because there are only 3 Black students that go to this school, literally had a school say, "You guys can opt out of learning Black history." Well, can I opt out of learning freaking geometry? Because guess what? I never needed that in my life. I never needed it in my life. So can I opt out of that? Can I opt out of learning freaking how to do a science experiment? Because I'm never going to learn science. Like, at what point was it okay to just for Black history say that, okay, your kid doesn't have to participate? What does the kid then do during that period of class where everybody else is learning about Black history? What does that kid get to learn during that part of school? It's just so crazy. Jackie, I'm getting Jackie back up here because this is tag team. I told y'all what happened. The outcome of it was it is now taken away and it's not an option anymore. But what are your thoughts about this? Like, why was this even made an option in the first place? And why did we have to have 2 NBA players bring light to it for the school to say, "Oh, okay, never mind. We're just kidding. We shouldn't have done that," because tradition, Black History Month, and celebrating it as a tradition in our school.
I think the fact that there is only 3 students in that school who are Black, I think that the parents and probably even the kids to some extent felt like, "Oh, it's only 3 of them here. We don't have to learn Black history. There's only 3 of them here." And I think it's exactly what you said. We always hear people say, whoever wins the war gets to write the history. So in their minds, it is what it is, that a lot of people in this country still think that Black history is just basically slavery and the civil rights movement. And there's so much more to that. And I think that that's the disconnect. That's why it's so easy to divide us, because it's easy to say, hey, I don't want to learn about them. I don't want, that's just, anytime you don't really value a people, it's easy to kind of dismiss them and just throw them away and say whatever. So I think it's unfortunate that not only these parents requested it, but these are people that are raising children in our society, because those mindsets are going to continue to grow up with them. And these problems that we see in our country are never going to go away because they're being passed down from generation to generation. And I think that's the bigger message to take from this, because it's very, very unfortunate.
Were you surprised at all to hear that this was like a school after what we've seen in 2020 and, you know, everybody being kind of more open and talking about this kind of stuff? Were you surprised to see a school in 2021 was like, hey, I think it's a good idea to just let kids opt out of learning about Black history?
Not in Utah. You know, unfortunately, I know a lot of people who've gone to college in Utah, and the amount of racism there is very, very subtle, but it's a lot, you know, and I've never known anybody to actually feel comfortable, you know, being in Utah. Everyone I know who's gone there has wanted to get out quickly. I even know a person who's from Utah who has a lot of those kind of unchecked biases. You know, she'll say things and then you'll have to look at her like, no, sis, that ain't it. That's hella racist, you know? And then she literally doesn't understand why that's racist, because her family says that all the time. Her family does this all the time. So in Utah, no, I'm not surprised at all. I'm surprised that they were able to walk it back so easily, because I think parents who can say with any sort of authority, I don't want to learn Black history, are very militant and malicious in their racism. So I'm surprised that they were able to walk it back so quickly and so easily.
Yeah, and I really do believe racism is based out of fear and not understanding. So to me, it would seem like the most common sense thing to do as an educator to have a room full of white people learn Black history, because then you would be less likely to be afraid or feel like whatever you feel about Black people, because you're like, oh, they're just like everybody else. We're just all people or whatever. Like, to have a moment where we're seeing educators, and to be very clear in this thing, the principal of the school is Asian. He is an Asian American man. And so he is a minority himself. And so to even have the principal of this school come to the thought process that this would be better to not have this, to not have Black history, not have the white kids learn Black history, is beyond me. Like, it's like, from not even just the parents, I get there's going to be ignorant parents because they have been taught whatever they were taught in school and whatever the case is, but to have literally the people that are teaching our future leaders in our communities, the teachers, not going to, you know, what diversity, whatever you need to do. I don't understand why teachers think it's okay to have a curriculum that does not involve Black history or Latino, Latinx history, like, or Asian history. Like, I just don't get how that's even a thing. Devin, we would like to include you in this too, just because it's such a hot, crazy topic. What were your thoughts when we kind of just explained what happened in Utah?
I mean, I wrote this in the chat, like, why was this even ever an option? Like, why would you want to do a child the disservice of not teaching them the full American history that we have, which obviously includes Black history? And like what Jackie said, American history is Black history. So to me, it's like, I know that every time there is some sort of weird, like, racially charged event in our country, it always surprises me, and that's because I'm the type of person that no matter what tries to see the good in people, and so seeing this and hearing this, it's just astounding to me, because it's so different from the way that I grew up and the way that, you know, the things that I've learned and the people that I've met. So it's just crazy to me that people would even give this as an option, you know. So I think it's important, even more important, for this group of kids at this school to learn about Black history, because they obviously have parents that are not informed, they're not educated, and these are the kids that need it the most. So I'm glad that they walked back on it, but I think that they should definitely be getting a lot more criticism than they have been.
My my question is, if Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell hadn't even said anything, would this have happened? Would they have changed this option? Or because, and that's the thing, it's like, that's what probably hurts my feelings, because I'm sure those 3 students, their families were appalled by this and they wanted to say something, but they knew their voices were going to be outnumbered. And basically, by saying, hey, this is an option, you've let them know that, hey, you're insignificant to us. How things that are important to you or things that you can feel proud of are not important to us. So just to know that this wouldn't have changed if these athletes hadn't spoke out about it is just heartbreaking to me, and what those kids in that school must feel like.
I know.
Yeah. And then the point again of like going back to what do the kids do when it's time to learn the Black History Month stuff for the day? Do you now separate and segregate the kids into like, okay, the ones who have racist parents, you guys are going to go in this room because you guys don't have to learn about it, and everybody else who like has some common sense and doesn't want to be racist, you guys get to stay here and we'll learn about Black history. Like, just the separation of like removing certain students to either learn or not learn that part of the curriculum in class is beyond me. I can't even, and this was voted on back in January or December, I believe, and then we did not hear anything about it. So yes, to your point, we would have never known about this, not let alone get this, like have Donovan and Rudy be like this spark for it that gets it overturned. And it's sad. It's so sad and so crazy.
It is sad. Well, thank you for bringing it to light, you guys. That was a great Tag Team Tuesday, and I think it's important that we know about these types of things that happen, and we know the schools that are doing this and thought that at some point it was good to offer this as an option. Clearly, we have a lot of work to do as a society, and, you know, I'm hopeful that things continue in an upward trend, although it's always going to be a little bit bumpy. We're always going to encounter those dips and valleys that happen, but you guys, great show today. Love talking with you guys. We are going to be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so make sure you tap the bell for notifications so you know exactly when we're going live. Subscribe, leave a comment below, share this video with your friends, wash your hands, wear a mask, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Don't be racist.
Don't be racist.